Testing.
Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. Chris, good.
Testing 1 2 3.
Good.
Air Miami.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to be joined by Chief Soccer Officer and Sporting Director Chris Henderson, then followed by Head Coach Phil Neville, and for Gonzalo Higuain. Welcome back to Drive Pink Stadium. And now we're joined by Chris Henderson.
Yeah, thanks for coming today. I don't know how many of you were here last night for the Colombia-Honduras game. It was a great atmosphere. The fans, the energy in the stadium. It was really great to come back here and see that again in our stadium. And looking forward to having our fans, Inter Miami fans, in our stadium. It's been a busy off season. The last 8 or 9 weeks, I got to thank our ownership for their support. Jorge Mas, David Beckham, the work of Nikki Budelich and Megan Cameron, Sam Gregory, Mark Brazant, the entire coaching staff, Phil and Jason, and their work in everything we have accomplished and we still have in front of us. But excited for this year. It's going to be a new, exciting group, and really excited to get started. We want to have a team that's hungrier, younger, more dynamic, and consistent. Consistency is a big thing that we want to work on, and we are, as I said, we started today. It was great to see the players out there. They're ready to go, and as you said, Franco, a lot of new faces out there.
All right, we'll get started with questions. If you have a question in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get started with Lauren and then Michelle Kaufman.
Thanks, Rafa. Chris, you talked about the fans. Fans are an important part of this club. The club is even going to do an open training session to get the fans more involved with the team. How excited are you to welcome fans back to this season?
Super excited to have our fans back. February 5th, we're going to have an open training session for all our fans to come and be part of it. It's important for all our players to have that connection with our fans. We feel the energy in this stadium. We feel our atmosphere is very unique here in Miami, and we want our fans to be part of it. Every signing we have with a new player, we talk about our fans and our connection with our fans.
Next question, Michelle.
I have a bunch of questions, but I'll start with 2 players who were not there was Blaise and Nico. What is the status of both of them, please?
Yeah, we're in conversations with Blaise. We'll have an official statement on that soon. With Nico, he wasn't at training today. He's working through some green card processes. He has also been talking with a couple teams that have shown interest, and it's multiple teams that have interest in him. He's a very good player, and that interest has been there for a while. But we're going to let those conversations are ongoing about him.
Do you expect him to be gone or stay, or you don't know? Or?
Yeah, we have to see how these conversations go, and we should know that in the next days.
Next question, Jose, then Franco.
Thank you. Chris, I wanted to ask you as well about another Argentinian player.
Yes.
He's happy about that. Matias Pellegrini, what's the situation with him? I know he left last year. He's on loan. Is there any chance of him coming back, or he's not a part of this team anymore?
Yeah, good question, Jose. We have been following Pellegrini. He's at Estudiantes. He's on loan. That loan will end this summer. So we have to see what the options are at that point, and whether his next move, if he's purchased or if there's other teams that want to bring him in. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And again, we'll follow him and see how he's doing. But I think overall he's been a bright spot for Estudiantes.
Next question, Franco. Then we'll go to Steve.
Thanks, Robert. Chris, first question of the year. You guys have obviously changed a lot of players, a lot of pieces. Probably a team that maybe more resembles what you and Phil would like to do with this team. Given that there's so many new pieces in place, what are you guys looking for from this team this season? Is it playoffs? I mean, last year the target was top 3-4 seed in the East. What are you guys looking for with this team, given that there's so many new faces, new players, and it's a younger team?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, consistency with this team is really important. We are a club that has ambition. We strive for excellence, and that's what we want to bring into every training, every game. And I think that is step by step. You know, we want to have a team that competes to win every single game. The backing of ownership, they want to have a winner here. And that's why we came here. That's why I came here. That's why Phil came here. So being able to set the foundation now for the club for the future, and being able to bring in some of the pieces that Phil and I can have our fingerprints on, you've seen that over the offseason. Now it's about getting them together and gelling and working on the cohesion of the team. But for sure, you get in the playoffs in this league, you have a chance to move on. And we have to have high hopes, and this club will always have high hopes in bringing excellence to this community and our fans.
Next question, Steve.
Chris, I don't know how much you can say about Blaise, but can we sort of take that from what you just said then, that there's a possibility that he could obviously leave, and that would obviously then free up a slot for you, which could be huge moving forward, I guess? Yeah, I mean, what I can say at this time is that we are in discussions with him and his representatives, and we hope to have a statement soon.
Sure. Next question, Michelle.
Yeah, if you could just, sorry. Most of us have not seen a lot of these younger players. You know, we're just trying to figure out who they are by face. Can you tell us just a few? I know you probably like all of them, obviously, because you signed them, but who are a few players that are really going to stand out, do you think, and describe them a little bit to us? What can we expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start out with in center midfield was Jean Mata coming. We were, working with our scout in Brazil. Jean Mata was starting close to coming out of his contract at Santos. It's an opportunity for us to bring a top, a player who could be a DP, but not on a DP tag on your roster. And he's very smart. He likes the ball under pressure. He's like a playmaker from a line back. So we're really happy to add him. Gregory knew him, so they have a history together. So it's really important throughout the field to have players who can complement each other in different parts of the field. Excited to get Ariel Lassiter in. In the back, McVeigh, that relationship we have with Ellsberg. I worked with the agent on that, who brought several players to me in the past, and they were all successful and ended up getting into the national team for Sweden while they were in MLS. So, that is what we want to do, is bring these young players through and give them an opportunity to develop and become stars on our team. Homegrown player in Bryce Duke, deal we did with LAFC for $100,000 in GAM. Tyler Adams, we traded his rights for Dylan Castanera. So, we feel like the players we kept from last year, some of those players in key positions, and then adding quality up the spine is going to be really important for our team. And Gonzalo Higuain, I'm super excited about him this year. He came in fit. He's excited for this year. He's going to be a true leader for us. Really important piece.
We're going to go to the call now with Felipe Cárdenas from The Athletic. Felipe, can you hear us?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, yeah, you guys froze for a second there. Chris, how are you? This is Felipe Cardenas with The Athletic.
Hi, Felipe.
Thanks for doing this for us. I guess my question is sort of a three-parter. Just how have these penalties or sanctions changed the way you approach this roster build and reconstruction, if you will? How involved has David been? And do you see a silver lining for yourself and for the club as you guys kind of navigate the next 2 years under these sanctions?
Yeah, I mean, we had to make some adjustments, but we feel like we're in a really good place with the acquisitions we made in the offseason. Getting 1.2 million in GAM is probably the most straight GAM trade in the history of the league. So I think that gave us some freedom to make some moves. A couple of the other transactions we made gave us roster flexibility. And we have made some signings. We want to make some signings. So we feel really optimistic about our roster and being super competitive this year. David Beckham, along with Jose and Jorge Mas, have been involved through the process. The conversations we've had with them on moves we are going to make and the support that ownership has given to us has really given Phil and I the opportunity to mold this team the way we want and go after some of the targets we've looked at. So we do feel like it gave us the opportunity. Obviously, there's a lot of turnover, which we had to do, and it gives us a chance to really put a culture in that people can follow the way we want to play, the way Phil wants to play, and mold that from the very beginning.
Next question, Fernando Fiore, and then Franco.
How you doing, Chris? I was listening to you on the previous question, and you talked about pieces. And for me, this team right now is like a 30-piece puzzle that we just open the box and trying to make it gel to each other. Do you see that you're missing any piece at this particular moment? Like you're getting to the last pieces, and you find that you need one more or two more to finish that puzzle and get the nice picture?
Yeah, it really is a puzzle. It's a puzzle putting the team together, having it all fit into the salary cap for sure. We do feel there's a couple pieces left. We want to bring in a player who's going to help us create more chances, get in scoring opportunities, create more goals. We needed to improve on that. I really feel with, you look at Lowe, McVeigh, Quinteros, Mabika, Frey, Saylor. You have guys now who are going to be dangerous on set pieces, which we weren't last year. And we have players who are good on service, which is important. So all of those pieces come together, and when you're looking at building a team, as I said, it's the pieces that complement each other. We have to look at the pieces we have and the new players that we're bringing in, how they complement, how they work off each other, what kind of mentality they have, why they're coming to our club, and do they want to be here. And I feel like all the players we brought in fit those pieces. In our recruitment process, we have 7 steps. And it goes from a long list to player profiles, to the short list, to watching the players live, to interviewing them. And I think we have hit every step along the players and new signings. So we'll look to add the next pieces. We're gonna work hard to get some things over the line. And if we can add those, I feel like there'll be another great addition to our club.
Last 2 questions, Franco and then Michelle.
Chris, I know you touched on this earlier, but how much was the plan and part of this roster makeover, the idea of bringing in, I guess, players that are maybe more physically capable of competing? I remember the Red Bulls game, for example, where you guys struggled from a physical standpoint, and just being able to have the energy and the motor to compete, and especially in a league like MLS where the physical aspect is so important?
Yeah, great question. I'm glad you brought it up because I can talk about Dawn Scott. Our new performance director has come in, and she's fantastic. Worked with the U.S. Women's World Cup team, Olympic team, in the British team as well. And she has put together a really good staff. And we need to take advantage of the weather down here, especially in the summer. And some of that comes into how you play, dictating the game, keeping possession in the other team's half, making some teams chase. And maybe we didn't do that well enough last year. And I think that will give you an advantage of being able to tire out teams and get greater opportunities at the end of games. But that comes down to every day at training, and it started today. And I noticed the energy and the players getting around the field at a higher pace. Some of that comes into a new commitment, but also youth. And you get some younger, hungrier players. And I think that's going to play into team consistency in what we want to do and being able to dictate the pace of some of the games.
Last question, Michelle.
You said you're trying to get a couple of things. You're trying to get a couple of things over the line. Do you think you'll get things over the line before the start of the season? How many players might still be coming? Or do you think some might have to wait until summer? Or do you think that by February 26th you're going to have the full roster that you want?
Yeah, I think both. We're hoping to get things done by the start of the season. Our window's open till May. We also could bring one of the pieces in the summer. So I don't know if I have an answer for your question, but we're looking to add the best pieces that are going to fit, and a couple of those right now are getting closer, but we'll see how they play out at the end of the negotiations.
Thank you, Chris. Now, next one is going to be Phil Neville. Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy New Year. You okay? How you doing? Michelle, hello. How are you doing? Nice to see you.
Great. We're good to go. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Head Coach Phil Neville. If you have a question in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get started with Lauren.
Thank you, Rafa. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Lauren.
We were talking to Chris before, and he was mentioning how important fans are to this club. The club is even going to do an open training session so fans can get more involved with the team. How excited are you to welcome fans back this season?
Well, I think they're the heart and soul of this football club, and there wasn't many positives from my point of view last season, but the support that we received from our supporters was the biggest plus the biggest thing that I thought was last season, they stuck with us through thick and thin. They supported us. They never stopped singing, chanting, supporting us throughout the whole season in difficult moments and in good moments. And I always feel as if the true test of a set of supporters within a sports organisation is when things aren't going well. How do they behave and what are they like? And I think what they proved and what they showed last season is that this set of supporters are here for the long haul, and they understand everything that we're doing. They're understanding and support for the players and for myself and for the rest of the organisation. I think makes me really proud to be associated with that group of supporters. And I think every day from the end of the season till now, part of my main focus is to give those supporters some success, because I think they deserve it.
Next question, Michelle, and then Franco.
Okay. Lots of questions on day one. We'll start with one. Just what are your first impressions of the training today? Everyone is, there's a lot of youth, a lot of new players. We have no idea who these guys are. We're trying to figure out by the color of their boots. What did you see? I know you were looking for youth and hunger, and were there a few players, I know they're all probably wonderful, but are there a few players that really stood out to you in the first day of training?
What did you think? Was there anything different than what you saw? Because I saw lots that were different.
Well, it looked fast. It looked faster,
Yeah.
and
I think
the pace was, just livelier.
I think if you think about the profile and the characteristics of the players that we've brought in, youth, energy, speed, hungry, and I think that's a real important word. Hunger to succeed, hunger to develop, hunger to work hard, and that's what we've seen. And we saw it today, but we've seen it for the last 2 months in terms of sort of like the programs we've been putting them on and the conversations that we've been having. And I know Chris has just done the press conference. Then no player has come into this building this season that we haven't vetted, watched, got a lot of background information on, and more importantly, had face-to-face conversations with before they signed on the dotted line. That was the one thing that I thought was massively important in the players that we brought in. We brought in a certain type of player, and first and foremost, a player that's got great character, a player that's a really good person, that's willing to come here to play football, to be part of a team, and someone that's really hungry to succeed and hungry to develop and hungry to be a part of a team, to be successful. And that's why I'm sitting here today, probably in a miles better mindset, confident than what I was probably a year ago when I sat here, in terms of not knowing the players that I was coming in to manage.
Were there any that really stood out to you? Anyone that jumped out to you today?
Well, McVeigh, one of the central defenders. We haven't obviously got Damien Lowe with us. McVeigh's come in, and he's a player that hasn't said that much at this moment in time, but just does his talking on the football field, and it's that type of player that I like. No frills, no histrionics, no drama. Comes into work, does his job, he's a part of a team, goes out onto the field, does his job, works hard, runs as far as he can, tackles as hard as he can, and does the job that he's asked of. And that probably you could say the same for Mo Adams, for Lassiter, for Quinteros, Campagna, Emerson, all the new players that have been on the training field today.
Next question, Franco. Then we go to Jose.
Hey, Phil.
Hi, Franco.
You touched on last year, at the end of last year, how you wanted to make changes to have this team reflect more of your team and Chris's team, your vision for what this team can be. Is this the team that Phil Neville wants for 2022? Is it as close as you're going to get, or do you still have some pieces you want to go? And if so, how much is introducing more speed into the team a priority? You guys have obviously had a lot of younger pieces. With that comes obviously some natural speed. So how close is this to being your team?
Well, I think we're close. There's still probably another couple of pieces to put to the jigsaw, but and we're always looking to keep improving. But I think what me and Chris discussed at length, you think about the away trips we had and the amount of times we spent together, and this wasn't just at the last game of the season, this was probably 6 months into the season, or maybe even earlier. We knew we had to make big decisions, and we needed to be brave. and we were willing to do that, and there's been a big turnaround, and we've had to make some really tough decisions for the good of the organisation and for the good of the football team, and we've been really pleased about how we've got out the ones that we wanted to get out, and we've brought in the ones that we've wanted to bring in, and there's been a lot of hard work by a lot of people, the recruitment team. You think about the work that Chris has done off the field in terms of putting the foundations with the performance team, the fitness team, the scouting team. We're now not just signing players just because a friend of a friend knows someone that's good or an agent that's close to someone. We're signing players because they've been watched 20, 30, 40 times by 5-6 people, and we know all about their family history, everything that they've done in their career we know about. So we're not signing players now off a whim. We're signing players because they fit into what we believe is our team, and I think that's all you need, or that's all you ask for as a manager, is to put your own imprint on your own team. And there are no excuses. There are no excuses now. I feel as if I've had input. We've worked really hard in the off season. We've brought in the type of player that we wanted, and we needed to do that. We needed to have a fresh new team. This is a reset button for the organisation, and I feel as if it's exciting with young players and young people in general. You get people that are fearless. You get people that go out there and play. You get people that have not been burned or had bad experiences in the past, and that's what we needed to get rid of. A lot of players in that dressing room last season had probably been burnt for the last 18 months about negativity with bad results, bad performances, giving goals away. Now there's none of that left in the dressing room, and the players that are left are the players that we wanted to keep, and the players that are coming in are fresh and hungry and fearless.
Next question, Jose.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Jose.
I wanted to ask you about Quinteros, and now that you mentioned Campana, I'll throw him in as well to the same question. How important is it for these players to come in and adjust quickly to what MLS is as a league as a whole? And what part does that play when you scout these players and you want to bring them in knowing that they will be able to adjust quickly to everything that goes on in the league?
Well, Quinteros is one that he was with us last year. We loaned out for experience, and rightly so. We had a lot of central defenders last year. Quinteros I knew when I was at Valencia. He was in the year above Harvey. He was in Harvey, I think it was in Infantil. He was in Juvenil. Used to watch him play and saw him develop. So he's not new to me. The thing I kept thinking about over the summer was when we was looking at the centre-back situation, we want centre-backs that can defend. We want centre-backs that can do the job. And I looked at Jairo Quinteros and you look at scouting all over the world, you look at bringing in certain defenders, and I kept seeing Quinteros playing against the best strikers in the world. Luis Suarez, the Argentinian strikers, the Costa Rican strikers, and this boy was playing every week in the centre-back for Bolivia against the best strikers in this part of the world. So we had someone right under our noses that was in our football club that wanted to play for Inter Miami. So we spoke long and hard about the centre-back situation, and with McVeigh, with Quinteros, with Frey, with Mabika, we've got 4 outstanding young defenders. Ian Frey last year would have played in the MLS if it wasn't for an ACL injury. Mabika played 2 games in the MLS and was outstanding in both games. So the minute that we saw Mabika play last year in them 2 games, we knew he was going to be an MLS defender this year, and an MLS defender in the shape that we wanted to be. And Quinteros will fit into that back 3 or 4 that we're going to play. Add into that Damien Lowe, who probably is the elder statesman of the group, the leader, the experienced head at the back, who we've watched for the last 12 to 18 months. We've watched more of Damien Lowe than anyone in the World Cup qualifying, the Gold Cup games, so we know what we're getting there. So it's quite exciting to see those young players at the back develop. Quinteros is one of them. They will make mistakes, like all defenders do, like all young defenders do, but they'll do it from a basis of wanting to learn and wanting to get better. And they're all quick, they're all strong, and they're all determined to fight for a place in the back 4.
We're going to take a couple of questions from the call. First, Rebecca from Sky Sports.
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Hi, Rebecca.
I've only got one question because I know you're very short of time, so I hope you don't mind me asking a UK-based one. You obviously played for Everton for a long time. Rafa Benitez was sacked yesterday. I just wanted your reaction and who you think going forward would be a good fit for the club.
Well, I think Everton is one, is a club close to my heart, and it's never nice seeing a fellow manager losing his job. But the thing I keep thinking about is I want Everton to be successful, so I hope they bring in the best person for the job that will get those supporters and Goodison Park rocking again like it can do. The club needs positivity around itself. It's been difficult 6 months for the club in terms of the results, etc. off the pitch. So I can only wish them all the best. I hope they find the right appointment. I played for probably the one of the best Everton managers in David Moyes, and the blueprint that he had was similar to the blueprint that we want here in terms of, he went out there, recruited the right people for the team. Good young hungry people, good young hungry players that went out there and played the Everton way, which is a high tempo, direct type of football on that tight pitch at Goodison that caused problems for a lot of top teams. So I just hope that Everton find someone like that can bring success to the football club, because it is one of the Premier League's great football clubs.
We'll go to Jack Hart and then Felipe Cárdenas.
Oh, all right, thank you. I was going to ask about your brother going into politics as well.
Is he? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not spoke to him for a bit, so. Nice.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you answering my questions. Cheers.
Thank you.
Next question, Jack, then Felipe.
Hi Phil, how you doing?
Jack, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Just wanted to ask, we've had a whole host of games in the Premier League be postponed due to Omicron and COVID in general. Is that something that you're planning for in the MLS this season, given that it looks like the peak is yet to come in the US?
Well, we've got really strict protocols out here. They started last week when the players came back into market. We're really strict in terms of what the players can and can't do. We're really strict in terms of the testing protocols, and we're really strict in terms of the quarantine period and the return to play after a player has had COVID. So it was something that we've experienced for the last 2 years, and it's frustrating that you lose players, but it's become part and parcel in the way of the world. And I think that the way that the MLS have dealt with this, I think, has been fantastic. They've took every measure, every preventative measure. They've encouraged every single player and staff member to get the vaccine and to get the booster, because that will make everybody obviously safer, because that's what the experts say. And to have strict protocols in terms of what players can and can't do, and in terms of areas they go to, about whether the single room, double rooms, the split dressing rooms were still on split dressing rooms. So the players at this football club and in the MLS, I think have become really, really professional. They've handled the situation really, really well in terms of the COVID protocols and processes, because they realise that will help them, one, first and foremost, be safe and health-wise for them and their family, and two, it will mean that they can get out onto the football pitch and play. And we have lost players from training and through matches through the COVID protocols, and I think what our stance is, particularly at this football club, is that we back ourselves to bring a young player up. We did it with Edison Ascona, Josh Penn last year, with Sami Khedira, with Amir Mabika when we were really down to the bare bones through injury and illnesses. We back our youth system to come up and put young players on the pitch, and to make sure that we fulfil every fixture that's out there. And I think we have an obligation to that. We trust our academy coaches, we trust our academy players, we trust the process of this football club of giving youth opportunity, and we would never use that as an excuse to try and cancel a game.
Last question, Felipe.
Thank you, Rafa. Phil, this is Felipe Cárdenas with The Athletic. Happy New Year. Thanks for jumping on. Thank you. 2 questions for you. Do you feel that last year's team, perhaps the way it was constructed and the players and the personalities, the sort of profiles that were on that team, did they not fit your vision? And then the second question is, does this roster deconstruction, the fact that it's a new team, it's a younger team, you've mentioned the inexperience that we'll see this year, does that merit a change in philosophy and tactics? Will this team continue to want to keep the ball, play from the back, or will we see perhaps a more direct team?
Well, I think, what was your first question again? Sorry.
Was last year's team built for you as well? Did that team fit the vision that you want to play in compared to this team that you have now?
I think we had great players last year. I think we had really good individuals, and there was a period in the season, in the middle of the season, when we went on a really good run that the team started to show their quality. But I always felt that we were never a team. We were always a team with where individuals felt they were more important than the team, and I felt that very early on in terms of the roster. The best players don't always make the best team, and what we've tried to do this season is bring in really good team players, players that will fit into the system and the style of play that we want, and bring in players that will help us to compete. Help us to compete in this league, help us to win football games. This club is massively ambitious. We've got an ownership that want to win, the ownership that want to be the biggest and best club in the world. So we've brought in players that can set the foundations for us to be successful, but more important is for us to compete every single week as a team. And we said it at the start of the press conference about the profile and characters of the players that we've brought in are those of one that we can develop, we can improve, and we can fit into the makeup of how we want to build the team. And yes, there's probably one or two parts, the cherries on the cake to come into the team that will give us that extra quality, that will give us that little finishing touches that every team need. But I think what's really, really important is that this team and this squad that we've put together has been put together because of the right characters that we want to bring in. We want to bring good people into this organisation to build a really good culture, a culture of hard work, a culture of winning. And you need certain players and certain individuals with certain characters to do that. And we feel as if the work that we've done over the off-season, particularly on and off the pitch, bringing in Dawn Scott and the performance changes that we've made means that we will be fitter and faster and stronger, hopefully, with the work that we've put in, and we will have a better cohesion on the pitch. And yes, with the new team and the big changes that we've made, we have to remain patient. We have to remain patient and let this team grow and develop. But if we do our jobs right and we put them together and we connect together as a team with on the pitch and off the pitch, then I think we can compete in this league.
We'll actually do one last one with Michelle.
Can you talk about Gonzalo and just what his attitude is, how he came in this year? How do you see him? What conversations have you had with him? He's kind of the last DP standing here.
Yeah, well, I think we spoke probably every day from the last day of the season to today. And what I've been speaking to Gonzalo about, and what Gonzalo's been speaking to me about, we've been speaking about his legacy at this football club. How does he want to be remembered at this football club? And he has been really, really strong about he wants to be remembered as a winner. He wants to be remembered in good terms. He wants to be remembered as someone that came to the MLS and to Inter Miami and succeeded and won. And you look at the way that he was training this morning. You look at the physical shape that he was in. That's someone that is got massive motivation to leave an outstanding legacy at this football club. And he has got a massively important role to play this year with those younger players. I've told him he's got to lead from the front. I've told him he's got to be an example. And that example starts on day 1, not on day 10, not on day 20, not 4 weeks into the season. The example starts on day 1 because these players, when they come into the building, the first player they want to meet is Gonzalo Higuain. He is the face of this organisation on the football pitch. And we spoke a lot about that over the summer, and he's highly motivated. I think the changes have really, really motivated him in terms of his competition for places, in terms of his role now within the dressing room. He's lost probably all the friends that he had in the dressing room in terms of the ones that he would sit with. So he's got to make massive efforts now to connect with the rest of the team, and to lead this group of young players to success. And I always say about Gonzalo last season, he never missed a day's training. and he never missed a minute of the game apart from the ones that I took him out of through injury. And that shows you the hunger and desire and durability that man's got, and he's going to have to show the same this season and add on the other bits in terms of leadership.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Now we're joined by Gonzalo Higuain. If you have a question in the room, please raise your hand. As a reminder, those questions asked in English. When he answers in Spanish, I'll translate back to English. Okay. We'll get started with Lauren, then Michelle.
Thank you, Rafa. Hi.
Hi.
Chris and Phil just mentioned how important fans are to this club. We're going to have an open training session where fans can come and, connect more with the team. How important and how excited are you to welcome fans back this season?
Phil y Chris hablaron mucho de la importancia de los aficionados para el equipo. El equipo va también a hacer un entrenamiento de puertas abiertas para la afición, mostrando que es un factor importante para el club. En tu opinión, ¿qué tan importante es esta afición para ti y para los jugadores?
Sí, buenas tardes a todos. Creo que es muy bueno que la gente pueda vernos entrenar, que pueda estar cerca nuestro. Creo que es una buena decisión. Espero que lo disfruten y es algo muy importante en el fútbol, la conexión entre los fans y los jugadores para que los objetivos sean más fáciles de conseguirlos. Ellos son una ayuda muy importante para nosotros, pero nosotros también tenemos que contagiar para que ellos estén contentos con nuestro trabajo. Así que me parece una gran decisión de que los fans puedan vernos más de cerca.
Good afternoon. I think it's very important to have fans close to us. It's a great decision to have them here for our open training session, and I hope they can enjoy. For us, it's very important to have a connection between the team and the fans. We need to support each other. We want to make sure that they're happy and that we can give them the joy that they deserve in order for us to reach our goals. And I think it's a great decision to welcome them here soon. Next question, Michelle.
Buenos días, Gonzalo.
Buen día.
Feliz año nuevo.
Gracias igualmente.
Este equipo muy joven, con jugadores con mucha hambre, nosotros todavía no los conocemos. ¿Qué tú puedes decir, tus impresiones de ellos? Y Phil ahora estaba diciéndonos que él está hablando contigo todos los días, que tú tienes que ser líder con estos jugadores muy jóvenes, que tú no tienes ahora tus amistades del año pasado. Un cambio muy grande. ¿Puedes hablar sobre ese tema? Gracias.
Sí, es verdad. Se han ido muchos jugadores, amigos. Hubo un cambio muy grande de equipo. Como dijiste, vinieron muchos jugadores jóvenes. Y ahora más que nunca, con la edad que tengo, la experiencia que tengo que tratar de ayudarlos a lo más rápido posible entender lo que es este equipo, lo que es esta ciudad, lo que quieren los dirigentes para este proyecto. Claramente el año pasado hemos, si se puede decir, hecho un papel muy malo no entrando a playoff, donde después del esfuerzo que ha hecho la dirigencia, como mínimo tendríamos que haber competido lo más cerca posible de entrar. Nuestro objetivo principal es entrar a playoff y después competir por ganar la MLS. Y este año es un año nuevo para mí, distinto al año anterior, donde yo también tuve problemas con lo de mi madre. Fue un año muy particular, donde me costó mucho enfocarme 100% en todo el año, porque lamentablemente esto pasó en abril, a inicio de temporada, y después me costó mucho enfocarme sinceramente 100% en lo que tenía que enfocarme, que creo que es algo normal al ser personas y ser humanos, ¿no? Pero bueno, ahora ya pasó un tiempo de eso, lo tengo más asimilado, sé que es una nueva temporada donde tengo que dar el 100%, porque si el año pasado, no estando al 100%, pude meter 12 goles y 10 asistencias, este año creo que con la cabeza enfocada y al 100% puedo mejorar los números y ayudar al equipo a clasificarse a playoff. Pero estoy de acuerdo con lo que dice, que se ha ido mucha gente de experiencia, de amistad, y llegó un grupo muy joven donde me gusta, entre comillas, ser el líder positivo para que estos chicos me ayuden y yo ayudarlos a ellos a lograr el objetivo, que es entrar a playoff y competir por ganar la MLS.
Next question, Franco, then Fernando.
Hola, Gonzalo.
Hola, Franco.
¿Cómo estás? Con tanto cambio en un equipo, y los hinchas se lo están preguntando y te pregunto a ti, ¿qué se puede esperar de un equipo que cambia tanto? Que es joven, que es juvenil, porque los automatismos no solamente se ven en el entrenamiento, se ven en los partidos. Entonces, va a tomar tiempo, me imagino, que este equipo encuentre su ritmo, me imagino, pero ¿qué se puede esperar tú que tienes experiencia, que has jugado en equipos por todo el mundo? ¿Qué se puede esperar de un equipo tan joven y que ha cambiado tantas piezas claves en una off-season?
Sí, lo primero de todo, paciencia, como dijiste. Se fueron un montón de jugadores, de los cuales muchos eran titulares, y ahora vamos a tener que trabajar sobre todo el funcionamiento del equipo. Son la mayoría nuevos, estamos a 4 o 5 semanas de empezar el campeonato. El año pasado tuvimos como 3 meses de pretemporada, lo cual es distinto, pero yo creo que lo mejor es esto, que en poco tiempo arranque el campeonato. El año pasado hemos llegado muy cansado al primer partido mentalmente, después de mucho tiempo, un solo amistoso, una pretemporada por cuestiones del COVID que nos interrumpió, no nos dejó llegar con ritmo de partido, y yo creo que lo hemos padecido. Y este año es distinto, tenemos poco tiempo, lo cual ajusta los tiempos, pero sí vamos a tener que pedir paciencia, porque lo que dijiste, hay muchos jugadores nuevos, donde los automatismos van a tardar más, pero veo un equipo, como dijo Michel, con jóvenes con ganas de aprender, humildes, donde se apoyan en mí, y bueno, eso creo que va a ser un buen punto de partida. Estos entrenamientos, la verdad que para bien, me sorprendieron, hay un buen ambiente, hay alegría, hay energía, y creo que esos son los factores para que los resultados se logren. Pensar todos en una misma dirección, y creo que es el feeling que sentí estos días, que los chicos son con ambiciones de progresar y de venir acá a hacer cosas importantes.
Next question, Fernando, then José.
Hola, ¿qué tal, querido?
Hola, buenas tardes.
Vuelvo a la parte personal, porque obviamente es muy importante, y me gusta mucho lo que decís, que si te fue tan difícil el año pasado con todos los problemas familiares, salir tan bien en los números personales, este año va a ser mejor. Hace un ratito en la cancha me dijiste que ya no puedo decirle Fede, que tengo que decirle profe ahora. Ahora
cambió ya.
Me hiciste cambiar, ahora tengo que elevarlo a otro nivel. Pero para vos, a mí yo me puedo acostumbrar, pero para vos debe ser lindo de alguna manera que tu hermano mayor esté en la cancha de al lado, ahora como profesor, como entrenador, y cambia la temática, ¿no? Un poco de la relación de ustedes. Y la segunda, después de terminar,
Sí.
me extraña que tu hija no te diga todavía que te afeites, porque literalmente las niñas dicen, papá, afeitate, que me pica y eso. ¿Qué va a pasar este año con la moda esa? Empezar por cualquiera de las dos.
Sí, es una sensación rara tenerlo a Fede vestido de técnico, cuando hace apenas 3-4 meses atrás era compañero de equipo. Lo de coach, Fede, es en términos de broma, pero sí que cambia la relación, claramente, y tenerlo entrenando al lado es chocante, pero muy feliz por él. Me da mucha pena que este año no pueda estar de jugador, yo se lo dije, porque era un ambiente que yo creo que a él le iba a favorecer. Pero bueno, es una decisión respetada de la dirigencia, donde quería hacer un cambio, pero eso me da mucha pena que él no pueda disfrutar de este año. Yo creo que lo va a disfrutar mucho. Pero lo veo feliz en lo que hace, era lo que quería, lo veo disfrutando, de a poquito interviniendo, y obviamente verlo feliz a mí me hace feliz, sea de coach o de lo que sea. Como siempre nos dijo mi madre, hagamos lo que hagamos, que le pongamos el alma, así que si él es feliz haciendo eso, yo soy feliz y lo voy a bancar a muerte. Y con respecto a la barba con mi hija, no hay negocio. No hay negocio. A mí me gusta la barba y me la voy a dejar, sí, que a ella le hace sarpullidos en la cara cuando le doy beso.
¿De verdad que...?
Pero no me lo pidió.
Ah, por eso, pará.
No me lo pidió, pero sí que le gusta mucho venir a la cancha, y yo que tenía otra cosa en mente pensada, me va a costar como que el retiro, lo que dije, esté aproximado. Si ella me lo pide, probablemente haré todo lo posible por hacerla feliz. Yo la veo muy feliz viniendo a la cancha, es algo que disfruta mucho, me lo pregunta constantemente cuando vuelvo a jugar. Y ella es feliz, es como una excursión para ella, y venir, y obviamente no toma dimensión ni de quién soy ni de nada. Ella lo toma como que va a verme jugar a un parque. Pero sí que ella me está haciendo replantearme si seriamente seguir, porque ella le hace feliz venir. Entonces, obviamente este año en contrato es el último con opción a otro, pero me encantaría hacer un gran año para poder seguir otro año más. Pero bueno, eso está muy lejos, y para que eso suceda tengo que hacer un gran año para que ambas partes podamos ponernos de acuerdo. Pero sí, la barba, por ahora no hay negocio.
Next.
No me lo dijo todavía. Todavía no hay
question.
negocio.
Next question, José, then Felipe.
Gonzalo.
Hola, buenas.
Muy buenas. Quisiera preguntarte sobre tu descripción de liderazgo dentro de un vestuario. ¿A ti te gusta que tus compañeros se acerquen a preguntarte, o tú acercarte a ellos cuando ves algo malo? Porque, bueno, está claro que tú eres el referente de este equipo y muchos te van a buscar, o tú tendrás que ir con ellos.
Buena pregunta. Sí, a mí nunca fui un líder así de muchas palabras. Siempre trato de ser un líder de más de hechos. Porque hablar y después no demostrarlo o ser consecuente con tus palabras, creo que al menos yo no soy de esa clase de gente. Pero sí, me gusta que me vengan a preguntar, pero vamos a ponerlo entre comillas, que este año voy a ser, en el buen sentido de la palabra, malo. En el sentido de que me queda poco de fútbol, y por primera vez voy a ver que si algo no va bien, voy a cambiar mi actitud en el no insultar y cosas, pero sí tirar de oreja, que el año pasado no lo he hecho, o por ahí lo he hecho de una mala manera, que se ha visto, pero este año sí que voy a ser un poco cabrón, en el sentido de que si yo me rompo el traste, quiero que los demás hagan lo mismo. Entonces, al que vea que no vaya por la misma dirección que el resto, sí voy a hacer de otra manera, en el sentido de ese líder positivo, para que todos tiremos para el mismo lado, que es algo que el año pasado un poco nos faltó. Lo fundamental es tirar todos para el mismo lado, y ojalá que me puedan ver desde ese camino, pero para tener ese tipo de actitud, el primero que tiene que demostrar que voy para ese lado soy yo. Y me encanta poder hacerlo. Me siento diferente al año pasado, me siento mejor físicamente, llegué mejor a esta pretemporada que a la anterior. Estoy libre de la cabeza, con mi familia, y creo que tengo muy buenas sensaciones de que va a ser un gran año.
Last question, Felipe.
Saludos, Gonzalo, ¿qué tal? Felipe Cárdenas con The Athletic.
Hola, ¿qué
¿Cómo vas?
tal?
Muy bien, gracias, estoy bien. En cuanto al funcionamiento del equipo que usted mencionó, ¿de qué manera debería mejorar el fútbol del Inter Miami, perdón? Y dentro de tu papel como centro delantero, ¿cambiaría la forma de jugar, lo que está pidiendo el técnico de vos?
Bueno, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Yo creo que esta es una liga, si no es la más particular de las más particulares que he jugado. El año pasado se ha visto que muchas veces hemos querido salir jugando de abajo y nos han metido muchos goles por errores de salida de abajo. Creo que esta liga también hay que tener un plan B de que jugar al pelotazo no te tiene que dar vergüenza. Porque hay muchos equipos que juegan al pelotazo y se clasifican a playoff. Obviamente la última MLS la ganó para muchos el equipo que mejor juega al fútbol. Pero hay muchos equipos que no juegan como se denomina jugar bien al fútbol y se clasifican a playoffs todos los años y compiten todos los años y tienen otro tipo de juego. Hay que tener un plan B, ¿no? No tiene que ser sí o sí encantar a la gente, porque la gente acá quiere ver goles, quiere ver show y no quiere ver si el equipo juega bien o mal, quiere que el equipo gane. Entonces creo que obviamente jugando mejor y ganando uno es más contento. Pero si jugás mejor y no clasificás a playoff, nadie te lo va a valorar si has jugado bien. Entonces creo que es una liga que hay que ser inteligente cuándo podés jugar y cuándo no, porque son equipos físicos pero que dejan muchos espacios. Entonces jugar al pelotazo a veces no tiene que dar vergüenza. Hay distintos estilos de juegos. Está el estilo de juego de Manchester City y está el estilo de juego del Atlético de Madrid, y a ambos le ha traído resultados. Entonces, creo que tenemos que empezar a concientizarnos de que no nos tiene que dar vergüenza jugar al pelotazo, por momentos. Obviamente la idea del técnico es jugar al fútbol, y a mí me encanta, pero no nos tiene que dar vergüenza tener un plan B. Creo que es muy importante en esta liga. El plan A el año pasado claramente no nos funcionó. Entonces este año trabajaremos en tener distintos funcionamientos y bueno, yo tratar de ayudar más a los mediocampistas a la hora de armar juego, ya que ahora no tenemos quizás un número 10 como el año pasado era Rodolfo, y bueno, capaz ocuparme más de esa función de ayudar al equipo a crear juegos y tener delanteros rápidos que piquen a la espalda, porque el año pasado tenía que picar a la espalda, bajar a buscar la pelota, picar a la espalda, y ya el cuerpo no es el de antes y el desgaste es muy grande. Entonces quizás este año tratar más de ayudar a los mediocampistas a armar juego y, como dijo Michelle, ya que tenemos gente joven, que corra ella al espacio.
Thank you, Gonzalo. Gracias, Gonzalo. Thank you all for participating today.
Gracias.
We're going to upload the media assets on our website. Thank you so much.